Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Tres Leches. Happy Pride Month. It's Juan here. Oh, how I've missed you, and you've missed me, and I've missed you for missing me, and you've missed me for missing you, and we just miss each other. Always have, always will. Maybe that's because no one ever really missed any of us at all. Mama? Where am I? Who am I? Oh, that's right. I'm Jan Falcon, and Gerald Ford is president, and today is Pride Sunday. Well, you're in for a treat, because we have the perfect guest to help us celebrate none other than the unstoppable, unshakable, always iconic Marti Gould Cummings. International drag staple, truth teller, political powerhouse, and this year's New York City Pride Grand Marshal. You've seen them take on City Hall, oh yes. And in Queen of New York, the documentary now streaming on Reverie, you can follow Marti's historic run as the first openly non-binary candidate for New York City Council. And as of this year, are you ready? Hold on to your hats, and I hope you brought your passports, because Marti just broke a record. As of this year, Marti is the first drag queen to perform on all 7 continents. Marti loves to cruise, honey, cruise, baby, cruise, in every meaning of the word. We'll get into that later. I adore Marti. They have been a part of my New York story for almost my entire 20 years that I've lived here. We hope you're hungry for this delicious, delicious slice of Tres Leches. Enjoy the show.
Marti, how does it feel to be a New York City institution at this point?
An institution like the Met?
You are.
Like, you are Marti Gould Cummings from New York City, darling. Yeah, you're like the Met. You're like MoMA.
You're like a walking monument.
That's me. I don't think of it like that. I don't know. I just vibe.
Yeah.
Listen to me, MARTIna, McPRIDE, Anderson Cummings. Truly, you are a part of the brand of New York at this point. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't know how I'd say this. You have done so many things, right?
Yes.
Like your activism is extraordinary. And then as an entertainer, you have worked with everybody, you worked everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you are New York nightlife, and your light and positivity and also like fantastic shadiness is just it's the best.
I'm like a secret shady.
Exactly. Yes, it's undercover. It's
Shady
undercover.
moon.
It's undercover. Like, I like when I'm with the girls, like, but I don't know, institution. I feel very lucky. I've been in New York. My 20 years in New York is next week.
Wow.
And
Mine's in August.
at work. It's incredible, right? But like now I have these kids at my show who are like 21, and I'm like,
Oh.
I'm old. I'm a boomer.
But you look young.
Like when I started doing drag like 18 years ago, and it became my full-time bread and butter 16 years ago. I was like very young. And at the time, like, I looked up to like Candace Kane and Sherry Vine. I still look up to them,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Peppermint, Shaquita, like these legends,
Yes.
right? And they were doing drag. Like when I started drag, they were at their like 15, 20 year mark. And now like I'm at that, which is...
Right. Which is why when I say you're an institution, you say, darling, it feels fabulous.
It does feel fabulous.
You're still here.
Baby,
really
she's
are.
grateful, she's joyful, she's hoofing it around all
Everything
over.
definitely came up roses for you. That is for sure.
Okay, can we talk about how Nicole Sherzinger should not have won the Tony and Audrey McDonald should? Okay, we're gonna get into it.
Oh.
We
Okay.
can, honestly.
Let me tell you.
Get in.
Okay, let me tell you. Okay, because you said everything's coming up roses, so we're shifting
Yeah.
gears and talk. Okay, because
Kinda
let me
did
tell
that on
you.
purpose.
Okay,
I'm the
so
host.
Okay.
people were really shady, like, oh, Audra shouldn't play this role. Take a seat, because Audra is the premier actress. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw it, third row. She spit on me, and I was like, now choke me out. Like, I when she spit, I was like, now call me a slut.
Please.
She was so
She looks a little
captivating.
dominant.
So she's dumb. She was so captivating, so mesmerizing. I felt the pain and the triumph of Rose. It was incredible. Joy Woods, Jordan Tyson, they turned it out in that show. They were so major. And Megan Hilty and Jen Samard and Death Becomes Her, the gay musical that we need, because these right wingers are like pow pow pow, and we need to be like maggots Unite.
Yeah, right.
I loved it. Jasmine in Boop, she bippity boppity booped and was so good in that show.
Okay.
And then Nicole loves Russell Brand and Tucker Carlson, so she can choke on a fat fucking dirty dick.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Can I say that on this?
Yeah,
Wait.
oh my
Yeah,
God,
you can
it's a
say
podcast.
anything you want.
I do want to ask you, had that controversy not happened, which she did deny, she denied till the day is long, would you feel the same way?
Okay. I love when the Pussycat Dolls were on Sabrina the Teenage Witch the college years. So that will always be iconic. Okay.
Remember that?
They sang in the cafe. Sully Moon Frye was like gagging for that, back in the day. So I'll always live for that. I think her voice is so good, and
Right.
she's a trained theater performer. Like the breath control, it's undeniable the talent,
Yes.
undeniable. My opinion probably would have been different.
Okay.
However, my Norma
Things
Desmond.
don't just fall out of a coconut tree. They
Right. We live in the
exist
context.
in the context.
We live in the context, but also I saw it 2 days after the controversy, so I was really bent out of
Oh,
shape.
you were in
And,
your
like,
feelings.
And I was like, I can't get a refund. Like, I want to go see Mandy Gonzalez. And Mandy's everything. Mandy did my show Stage Fright, sang down. I was like, this is my Norma. But let me tell you, the Norma Desmond I don't need Norma doing pussy pops and cartwheels, okay? Let's leave that to the girls at the club. I need Norma Desmond to be Glenn Close, turning and giving a look. I saw Glenn Close at the Palace Theater.
Wow.
She came out for that song, With My Look, I Can't, and she comes out,
Yes.
single spotlight on her face, just the curtain. She turns
She
to
was
the
in
audience.
kabuki makeup.
Baby, spooky. She turns to the audience, she looks. Music hasn't even started yet. Standing ovation. From a look. Glenn Close, give her the Oscar.
Yes.
I know Oscars are for film, but give her an Oscar for that. Where's the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, she's been
Or
nominated.
don't, and yeah.
Listen,
Eight
I will
times.
admit, I was kind of a Scherzinger pusher for the Tonys. I kind of feel like she should have won. I will tell you, but I
And
will
that's
not
why you're wearing
debate-
this red hat.
Yeah, it's coded. I will just say that the performance is exquisite. I'm not debating that. That's
The
not up for debate.
performance
It was
is
the
incredible.
best performance. It was the best performance. But I have an agenda too, Marty. And my agenda is this. I do not believe that people should win more than a few Tonys.
Oh, you do have that feeling.
Yeah. I don't think that she needs another Tony, and we need more Broadway stars because the economics of Broadway need people who can say that they are Broadway entities. And now Nicole is a Broadway entity. For better or for worse, she's going to come back and be in a show, and there's going to be money behind that. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little too much of a Kris Jenner, but I just see jobs and money and another show that
Capitalism.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, as long as you're not a Caitlyn Jenner, I support. But
she could do. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, no.
what I need from her, because she's very talented, and I hear what you're saying. What I need from her is to publicly, with her chest, say, I support the trans community.
Yeah.
I support immigrants, and I do not stand by the values of the post that I commented on.
Yeah.
I need a full throat because we are living in a time where there's no middle ground. There's no
That's true.
there's no playing it safe. People literally lives are on the line, and who you vote for directly impacts that. And so I need her with her full chest to say what her values are.
Yeah. And that's fair, especially in a time right now that we live in. We expect more from our public figures. I wanted to ask you, because you've been doing drag for quite some time now, sometimes we start as artists and we don't expect our art to become political, to be political. We do it for the love of it. Was there a moment where you're like, okay, drag for me is also now
Something bigger.
or was it always from the moment first time in drags, was it always part of that?
Okay, I tell this story all the time, and I think it's important.
So we should be asking different questions, is what you're saying.
Well, I've never heard this story.
Do your research.
I'll
Okay.
tell you.
Google me.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I started doing drag when I was very, very young. I'm in my late 30s now. I started very, very young. And, at the time, you know, I look back at my drag career, and there's certainly things where I was like, wow, that was a big mistake. No, you know, and I think I look to like comedians like Sarah Silverman and Chelsea Handler and how their comedy has evolved, and low-hanging fruit is low-hanging fruit. Be smart with your comedy. And so I like how their comedy's evolved. I think mine has, as a drag artist, there's certainly things in my like early drag career that I'm like, oh my god, that was like not the moment, you know? But I always like, maybe in like 2009, I started getting involved with the Ali Fournier Center for Homeless LGBTQ Youth, and I'm now on their board of directors. But I was very young when I got involved with them, but I wasn't doing it out of politics. I was doing it because I believed we should be supporting our queer youth who need help. And so I started volunteering with them, whatever. When I got like super political, it was a literal out of a movie light bulb moment. I was doing a gig. It was when you know, the Nazi president first came down the escalator and said all this horrible stuff about immigrants and whatever. And then Mike Pence came in to pick whatever. So I was on stage, and I think you have to talk about the seriousness of it, but you also have to make fun of them.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's really important.
We have to laugh through trauma. So I was doing the drag thing and making fun of him and how, you know, whatever. And the owner of this venue, which has since closed, Vodka Soda Bottoms Up, is the venue.
Wow.
And he said to me, he was like, I think you're going to make alienate our straight audience members. And as a voter, I feel uncomfortable. And I was like, well, first of all, I love everybody. If you're coming to see my show, you are welcome.
Yeah.
However, if I'm doing the show in a queer space, the straight people's fragile egos do not matter to me.
Right.
Because you can go to any bar, any nightclub, and feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
But we oftentimes can only feel safe in certain places. And then I said to him, as a voter, are you profiting off of queer people and voting against their interests? Shame, shame. So I handed him the microphone, I grabbed my purse, and I walked down the street to another venue to move my show, which I did. And as I was walking, I said, I have a microphone in my hand every single day, and I have, for whatever reason, people follow me. What am I doing? What am I doing with this microphone? What am I doing? And I called a friend of mine who was on city council, and I said, what am I doing? What do I do? I don't know about these issues. How do I educate myself? And he said, go to your local Democratic club. And it so turns out that local Democratic club was run by Mickey Spillane, who is the name of the bar that the guy owns. And they're like, not real Democrats. They were pay for play, not great, not good, not doing service for the community, not helping. So I said, I'm gonna start my own Democratic club, and I'm gonna take them out. And every elected official told me that would never happen. They are so powerful, that will never happen. And I said, watch me. And their club doesn't exist anymore, and the club I started is one of the most powerful in the city of New York. And all the electeds love to come to it now. Yeah. And it's a great way to like bring people in to learn about local politics, because local politics is the bedrock of democracy. We can fight what's happening federally on the local level. State legislative bodies, especially, but also municipal bodies. New York has an operating budget of $110 billion, which is larger than most states. Our police budget is larger than many countries' military budgets. Like, what the fuck is that about? So you can impact change on the local level. And so that's how I got involved in politics, and it just kind of like snowballed from there.
Yeah. I love the story of, you know, the establishment basically saying like, good luck, girl, try it over here. We've been here for so long. But it's so interesting that because I'm sure at some point the people that started that club started with great intentions. And it's funny how money and access to power really kind of bastardize things and pollute them, so that because, you know, I feel like in 10 years, you know, someone might come to us and be like, hey, the way that you're doing it kind of sucks for us. And we have the choice then to be like, oh, how do we incorporate you into this and change with it, or be changed by you taking us over? You know what I mean? Which is, in your case, what happened. Do you see that at all? Like the fact that you've been doing it for as long as you've been doing it now, do you ever feel like, oh, these young ones are pushing me out of my comfort zone?
They're feisty.
They should push me out of my comfort zone, because we're human beings, and we are supposed to, as human beings, constantly learn and evolve.
And
as human beings. So like this notion of like, when you look at politicians and you're like, oh my God, you used to do this. Okay, if we're protesting and we're pushing for something and fighting for something, the goal is to get that politician to the side we want, you know? So say, you know what, you fucked up before, but now you're doing the right thing. Great, good, the protest worked. But with this younger generation, I'm constantly learning from them and how they're out there. Like they're amazing to me. And there's some things where I'm like, girl, okay. But a lot of it, I'm like, oh, work. I can learn from that. And then you look at like the organization that I'm talking about was 125 years old. So I'm looking at it from the lens of like how AOC fully went up there with her full fucking chest the other day for Zohran Mandami, who's running for mayor, and was like, we need to take on the establishment. We could have beat the big, beautiful bill had 3 members of Congress not died in office because of their age. Like,
that is a staggering that was a staggering realization when I read about that, because it makes you really realize how we are like dealing with like it's life and death literally everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, Marti, I have to say, I think we should share it on the Tres Leches account. When I was in grad school, I did a piece about Marti.
Oh my God, that was so long ago.
The club. It was so long ago. It's really good. It's really, really good. So I think we should share it because it's a snapshot of, you know, of your early political energy and the scrappiness with which you were approaching it. And it's the same gall and gumption to get up on a stage and do drag. I think you just took that energy and just shifted it, and that's why you have had such momentum and people listen to you, because you walk like through it like with a machete. You know what I mean? You're just like cutting through the jungle with everything you do.
With charisma, really uniqueness,
following you today, Juan.
Exactly.
I have a question for Marti. When you discuss like creating your own Democratic club, and are you in drag when you're doing that? Or like, is that like or are you Marti and then not that?
I mean, girl, it depends if there's a gig after, okay? Because
I see. Well, I didn't know if Democratic, if the gig was also like in drag, I'm more powerful, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Think, you know, like when I ran for office, it made like national news because drag queen running, whatever. And People magazine and all these things, the headline was like drag queens running for city council. And so our team went out to them and said, do a follow-up story, because yes, I'm a drag queen, that's my job, but I'm a gig worker, 1099, which means my taxes are probably higher, which means I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck and not have access to health care, to have to fight landlords for equitability. I have that experience, which so many people have within different industries, right? Yeah. So I said, go back and talk about the issues we're fighting for: housing, healthcare, education, all of these things, because my drag experience has helped shape those platforms. But yeah, I'll go to like a political event and drag. I don't give a fuck. Like, and if somebody has a problem with it, fall back and sit down and go swim in the East River, bitch. Like, I don't have time.
Go get E. coli.
Go get E. coli.
It is interesting that the ways in which the progress that we do make and the rights that we do have and share a lot of times come from people that are the most marginalized, and they don't get the due credit a lot of times, because it's like sometimes, you know, it's like, yes, they're so focused on you being a drag queen, but they're not focused on the fact that you do know, like you said, you are a gig employee. So who better to represent you than a bitch that actually does what you do, just in a wig and some heels, you know? But I feel like sometimes identity politics get in the way so much in a like a negative way. It's like they could never understand me, and it's like, no, I hear you, but I actually understand you a lot more than the people that you think understand you.
I think it was an uphill battle to show the political world that it wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't a publicity stunt. It wasn't a joke. It was like, why can't all voices be heard at the table? Why can't multiple industries be at the table. And that's the same thing. They still come for AOC, who I think is going to run for president. They still go, oh, she was just a bartender. Just a bartender. Do you know how hard it is to be a bartender? Do you know how hard it is to be a waiter or a bus person? It is such a hard job. Yeah. And why can't those voices be at the table, you know? Yeah. So I think people, you're a barista, get involved in politics. You clean houses, get involved in politics. You're driving a taxi cab, get involved in politics, because you
can become the next Hamilton.
But also, I think we also have to reframe it too, because I feel like politicians are gig employees. They're employed as long as we need them to be. You know what I mean? This like superiority of like civil servants. Like, no, baby, you actually are just as important, you know, as the person that's serving us. That's like, well, maybe not as important, like in affecting our day-to-day lives with like, you know, legislation, but to think that they're above us because they're helping us is such a weird, it's almost like, well, you have to listen to me. It's like, no, you have to listen to us.
That's right. That's
yes. T.
Let me tell you, I also don't like career politicians. Like, why is this your career? Know when it's time to pass the baton.
Only 3 Tonys, only 4 terms.
There you go. If you can't have multiple Tonys, you can't have multiple terms.
Right.
Mitch.
Yeah. Well, okay. But I'm glad that you are being celebrated. But can we have a moment to celebrate the 2025 Grand Marshal of the New York City Pride Parade?
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
It
How does
feels
feel?
right.
You're like Dolly Levi.
Truly.
And you're in good company. Wait, let's see who else. Okay. DJ Lena.
Okay, DJ Lena is a fucking icon. Listen, to all you people listening on the internet, radio, Spotify, whatever, TikTok,
wherever you get your podcast.
DJ Lena is that bitch. Okay, I love her.
Yeah.
Legend. Getting her flowers.
Finally, there's actually a really beautiful video where you get to watch her interview with Johnny on his show on Logo. Because it's spectacular. Okay, so then we've got the Transformative Schools is
Incredible.
As a unit is being represented as one of the Grand Marshals.
Incredible.
And Corinne Jean-Pierre.
No.
Is that not true?
No, she is, but
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
Boy not.
I'm not about it.
Work.
I mean, listen, it's a big deal.
Not
though.
the
Well, let's talk
the Real
Turkey.
the Real Housewives of Grand Marshals.
Listen, regardless, it's a big deal.
I think if you stand at a podium
Press secretary.
every day and say these are your beliefs and this is what you're fighting for, and then when you get a book deal, you denounce it to sell books.
Oh. Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, that's what you're talking about. That's the...
And that
you know.
empower corrupts. And
Power corrupts.
Power corrupts.
And don't
once
bomb
you have it,
children.
you will have to hold on to it. Exactly.
Easy.
And then finally, the last honoree is Elisa Cresbow, who works for Stonewall, right?
Elisa Cresbow is a good friend of mine, and I love her so much. She was the first trans woman to run for city council in New York. She ran for the seat that Richie Torres ended up getting before he was in Congress. Boo, Richie Torres. He's a piece of shit. We can get into that if you want.
We could.
He's a real fucking dingle dong. But Elisa ran. She's incredible. She then became the executive director of the New Pride Agenda, an amazing organization working for legislation to protect our trans community. They led the legislation on sex worker decriminalization. An incredible organization. And now she's the executive director of the Stonewall Foundation. She really is
The real deal.
She's the real, and
You're in good company.
Her and Lena, two incredible women being honored, transformative schools, providing safe spaces, work. And I understand why, is
She who
also
shall
being
not be
honored.
named. Uh-huh.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but whatever.
Here's the thing. Also, this is the beauty of community, and this is the beauty of because I feel like when the rest of the world kind of looks at the LGBTQ plus community, they see us as a monolith. Like, we're all the same. We all think the same. We all feel the same. And I think it's good to hold each other accountable.
Yeah, of course.
And I know some people call it like calling out, but I'm like, someone came up with the term call in, because it's like no one is beyond forgiveness. No one is beyond. Well,
That's very
maybe some
Iyanla.
people, but yeah, very. Not
That
on
just
my
fixed
watch.
my life.
But it's true. I feel like a lot of us, even when we call people out, it's not to say they're bad people. It's just to say you did something that doesn't sit right with the fight that people have put on before you to give you this kind of honor and opportunity and space to inhabit. So I mean, you might get in trouble, but it's not because you don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this doesn't discredit her history-making run as the press
course.
secretary. That is
Correct.
monumental and history-making. And that does not discredit that. That does not take it away. That is representation. That is to have that representation at the White House podium every day. Monumental. And calling in is exactly right. Me saying this is not like, fuck her. It's me saying, hey, you're supposed to be on our side. What's more important, selling books or being on the right side of history? And it's like I said earlier, when we protest and we call these things into the forefront, it's to get them to where we are. Barack Obama, love him down, didn't support marriage, and then became the biggest advocate.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we pushed.
Yes. And there are shades to this. It's nuanced. Like you have to take
It's
people
never
for the
black and
whole
white.
picture. Exactly.
That's why I don't love when politicians are running and people are like, well, that's not what you said in 1982. And it's like, well, I hope not. I hope
my
I don't
God,
feel the
please.
same way I did in 1982. Like, allow people to change. But, it's like,
I'll give her the grace to
change
to
your
evolve.
mind.
Sure.
That's great. I wanted to ask you, because you do such a great job of working in an activist space, but you also do it which in a way that I think is probably the most effective to change hearts and minds, and that is through humor, love, and laughter. Do you notice a difference when, maybe not even being in drag, but just the performance of, being that persona? Because you're Marti, but then you're Marti. Do you feel that gets through sometimes a little better when you are, throwing a couple shady remarks, or you're making levity out of very serious situations?
I mean, I always say this. If they take our joy, they win. And so, as scary as things are, sometimes you gotta just, that fucking Trump parade was such a waste of money.
Oh my God.
It's so stupid. But that video of the tank
Squeaking through?
I was
No
like,
quality
girl,
control? No
I was like, first of all,
WD-40?
nobody showed up to your birthday. It was like my 3rd grade birthday. No one showed up. No one came. I was sitting there. I was like, can somebody get an oil
But
can?
you had cake.
Yes.
I had cake. I still have cake, honey. Okay. Bottoms unite. Let me tell you, I was like, kids, we have the biggest military budget in the world, and we can't oil the damn tank. It's
Unacceptable.
woo, baby.
Yeah,
You know what? Give them what they want, and then he got it, and now it all worked out. I think in a way to just kind of
The
show.
people, you mean give the people what you wanted? Because nobody was asking for a military parade.
No, I
for
know,
Donald
but I
Trump's
just mean
birthday.
I'm saying he wanted that thing and he got it, and it was so beautiful to see and kind of amazing, the turnout of the protest while that was happening in. In
It
tandem.
was very that. Look what's happening over at Sharon's party, honey. They're all at Sharon's party.
It was great. That was a bit that we're living in it, but I wonder if in years they will talk about this day that this fucking.
Absolutely.
I don't even think they will. I think it'll just be
Oh.
forgotten. I don't think so.
I don't think so. So I've been watching a lot of there's these shows called Turning Point on Netflix. I love history. So there was one about the Cold War, the Cold War that we're still fighting with Russia.
Get a coat.
And so many conflicts around the world started because the United States and Russia can't just be big girls and fight one-on-one. They got to get their sisters and their cousins into it. And I was watching one about Vietnam, and there's so many striking similarities to lots of events in history of protest days and things like that. And I'm like, oh wow, in the 70s the girls were up in arms just like we are today, just about different things. And it was it was sad, but it was also really sweet to see that people will always come out to do what's right at the end of the day. Even in the darkest days, people will come together and fight for what's right. You know,
Juan says this a lot to us, and I'm always reminded that, like, sometimes we talk about the coconuts that are falling in the context from the tree around us now.
Yeah.
But that, like, he's like, but this has happened before. It's like, we're just, well, some of us, but, like, you know, I'm still in my 27 plus years, and all of you are in your late 30s, and so you're experiencing history.
You're in your 20s? Work.
I'm in, and you're
20
and
times
we're
2.
experiencing history. Marty, you cut. Marty, I can't. Did you cut? Sorry.
How
Hold
old are
on.
you, bitch?
I can't hear Marty. Something's up. I don't know. Talk to these people. But, and so that we're all experiencing history. We're all experiencing history in real time now, and it's like Juan will always say, but this has also happened before, and they got through it, and it I'm sure it felt as bad as it did then, but, like, the renaissance and the cycle of it will continue, and this is just a part of life, and we will prevail. Like, it will get better
Eventually. I think this time is a little different. I think it's gonna take a long time to get back. But this is the largest protest in American history. 12 million people, the largest. And let me tell you, okay, let me tell you about how we really turn it. Okay, they're out there with the little red caps and their little Jesus. Yes. Nothing against Jesus, he seems like a good guy, but, like, their little, you know, their little muck, like, oh, pray or whatever. Bitch, go drink the baptismal water. You're thirsty. But at our protest, well, they were playing Freddie Mercury, and a celebration. Maybe that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. They were really like, I was dancing in the street in the rain.
Yeah. That's the thing that don't
value.
Wait, I think I confused something that I said earlier. I was saying that they're never going to remember the military parade, not that protest. The military parade will just be a blip. No one will remember that it happened.
I meant just like No King's Day in general.
I think that they'll remember both, but I think they'll remember the parade because of No King.
Sure. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like, in the context of, like, nobody showed up to her party, but everybody was across the street getting their life. And that's one of the things that I love about protests. Like, when you're actually there, you see just how beautiful the community around you is. Whereas, like, on TV, they're like, they're breaking things, and it's like, no, we're not. There's like a couple people breaking shit, girl, but sure.
We're not breaking shit. We're waving our signs that say Jonathan Groff is the only king I like. Calm the fuck down. Like, oh my God.
You're telling people where you live, Marty. You're telling people where you live by that.
The only people breaking shit are those, those men.
It's, you know,
Those they're men.
Those men.
Those them men's.
Yeah, and also, if people were throwing bricks at Stonewall, I mean, we're over here celebrating that, so maybe the girls need to break an Apple store or two.
Baby, let me tell you, Pride is a riot. Throw a brick.
Save a cowboy.
Throw a brick, shit a brick, whatever you gotta do.
You know, my mom actually called me, and it was like 9:30, 10 p.m. It was like an odd time for her to call me, and so I thought, like, oh, like, I'm gonna answer this, and she was like, "Hi," and I was like, "Okay, hello, hi, Mom, what's up?" I let her know, like, I don't do the polite thing with parents, like, she will hear the "Why are you calling?" in my voice, right? So I'm like, "What's up?" I know, yeah. Wait, are you saying, like, I shouldn't talk, or like
that's their relationship? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Got it. Yeah. No, it's giving very, like, this is my time. This is like a weird time, and and then she's like, "Hi, Ian. You know, were you at the protest today?" And I was like, "No, I had 2 shows." And she was like, oh, "Okay, good." And then I got so upset with that answer, and I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Well, because I just saw what you posted on your story. Should have never restricted her. I should mute her for sure." But I was like, "Oh, let her see, like, what I post. It's just like me being thoughty, pretty much." And like, anyway. And she was like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. Like, the Trumpy thing. Like, you don't know. I don't want you going there at all." And she got very motherly on me, and I got so pissed. I didn't let her know, but I was like, "Okay, well, I didn't," and, like, whatever. But it made me now just I wanted to be there. If I didn't have 2 shows, I would have been there, Mom. Because to what you're saying, Johnny, is she is sitting there watching what the media is showing. And so she really does think, and I get it, she's our parent, and I'm not complaining that my mom, one, is still here, that she is the mom she is. I love her to death, but it was just this moment of, oh, you're seeing something on the television that isn't really what it is at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so it's just like it riled up in me this one, I wanted to rebel against my mom, but then also I wanted to I would have been there if I didn't have 2 shows and was
throw
a
a
working
brick,
girl.
Ian.
Yeah.
I don't know how to throw.
Let me tell you. You Grubhub some Sonic to your mother. I don't know where she lives, but that sounds about right.
Pollo tropical would be more what I would say.
Okay, well, Grubhub her that and tell her to breathe, and it will be okay. Hold on, John, can you bring me my computer charger? I don't want to, I'm doing the internet stuff.
Wait, can I ask about John?
Can I ask about you?
How's love
Can I ask
life?
about the husband?
He's really hot.
He is.
That's great. You're
He's
80% there.
very
How's the other
funny.
20%?
He's very funny. He's very funny. He makes me laugh, which is good. We giggle a lot. And let me tell you my favorite thing about him. He's always down. Sometimes when like life is stressful or hectic, I'll just grab the dog. We have 2 dogs. I'll grab the dogs and I'll be like, okay, we're doing like a 30-second dance party. And he's like, okay. And we just like dance.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
And
like
vibe it out. And
that's
he
like
rolls
Carrie
with
and
it.
Burger.
He rolls
Remember
with
that?
it. Yeah. Burger broke up on a post-it note. Don't you do it.
It's funny. It is so interesting when we have partners that are just so much more. When you're like a performer, or when you're someone that just has so much in you to like give to the world. It's so nice to have like a calming, weighted blanket around
It's
to
really nice.
really ground you and to make you feel like that yes-anding of doing the dance party. Like there would be people that are like, why are we dancing? We don't need to be dancing right now. Like
30
I
think
seconds.
and it's like, just fucking dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that moment. Go, Marty. You have it. Go.
I'm gonna embarrass him, but I also love when I'll like be walking the dogs or running errands, and I'll be walking up our stairs in the building, and I'll hear him belting show tunes,
Oh.
and then I walk in, and I'm like, "What's she doing?" It's so cute.
What is she belting? I want to know the repertoire.
All of it. My Days, Heart of Stone.
Oh!
Okay.
Sweating now. Now I'm
I
sweating.
remember the first time I heard it. It was when we were like first starting dating, and he was taking a shower, and I was lying in his bed, and I could hear him in the shower, and I said, "He's singing Come From Away."
Oh,
And I was like, what the fuck? And it's just so cute and so pure.
what does your husband do
Communications,
with
And
you,
in
or like a-
relationships, you have to do that.
for a bank.
Got it. Love it.
Can I? The fact that My Days and then they have musical theater in common. One thing I love about you, Marty, is that you are a theater kid.
Yes.
You're a theater kid.
Tried and true.
Tried and true.
Yeah.
If you go to a Marti Cummings show, you
Yes.
are going to have the Liza experience. The full Liza experience.
I love like I love I met her 2 times.
Wow.
The first time, Palace Theater, Liza at the Palace, and my boyfriend at the time was in Hair on Broadway, and they'd just done their Vogue shoot. We run into Andre Leon Talley,
Wow.
the Palace, and he goes, "Oh, you were in Hair. I remember you. Your shoot was so good. Why don't you come backstage with me after?" And there was like a big party backstage. No. So we went to. It was literally like 2 seconds. Like, Liza, congratulations! Like, you're amazing. And then Andre, went in, and then we just hung out. Whatever.
Yeah.
The other time, Gavin Creel. Many, many years ago, I was like a drunkard. I've been sober for many years now, but and I needed a job, and my boyfriend was paying for everything. I needed a job, and Gavin was just the most lovely, incredible, kind human being. And he said, "Oh, I bet you I can get you a job with my publicist, Amy." I said, "Oh, that would be great." So he got me this job, and Amy and I are now friends. But I got fired from this job because I stole all of the press contacts so I could get onto red carpets to do interviews of the Broadway stars I loved. And at the Drama Desk Awards in 2009, I was friends with Tiger Martina, who was one of Liza's dancers in this.
Yes, I've worked with Tiger before.
Love Tiger. And Liza wasn't really doing interviews, and I grabbed Tiger and I said, please. And she came back, and it's still on YouTube, and I'm 21 with a high ponytail and a bow tie. Because I had long hair, I had hair down to my shoulders. I had a high ponytail, like I was in Bring It On, with a bow tie though, a brown bow tie. Who was she? And Liza, and it was the most joyful. It will never happen again. And
Worth getting fired over. Worth getting fired.
It was
over.
so worth it.
Well, also so fierce for you to get that contact list because you're like, honey, I ain't stopping here. I'm going for the gold. Like I'm getting on those carpets, and that is the chutzpah. That's
what started my career. I still have people come up to me and say, "I watched your videos when I was in college."
When you said that, I was like, "That's how she did it." I live for that lore drop, as they say.
That's how I became Marti Cummings. Was that, and it all is because of Gavin Crew.
And what an angel, a guardian angel for so many in the community, and especially in the Broadway community. It's so sweet to hear stories like that because long after we're gone, those are the things that I hope people hold on to, like the acts of care and kindness, especially to a young queer person.
When I was running for office, he lived a block outside of my district, but he was walking. He sent me. When he passed away, I was looking back at these text messages, and he had taken a picture outside of the grocery store or something of my face, my campaign poster. And he wrote to me and he was like, I am so proud to see from the 19-year-old that I met to who you are today. And he was like, it just fills my heart with joy. And then on the actual election day, he sent me this really beautiful text. And it just after all those years later, to send that, it was just, he really did start it by getting me that job.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He really is a guardian angel for so many people.
So many people have their Gavin story.
Yeah.
And him by doing that, and Patina Miller, Patina Miller really started my drag career because she...
Wait a minute, I did not know this.
She had gotten booked in Sister Act in London.
Wow.
And I had a car at the time. She asked if I could help her move her stuff into storage. And she knew I was dabbling in drag, whatever. So we went to the storage, and then there was 2 bags left. And she said, oh, no, those are for you. And I said, what? And she gave me a giant bag of dresses and a giant bag of heels. And she said, start your journey.
Oh, wow.
And it started, and then when I did 30 Rock, they didn't like any of the outfits they had at Silver Cup for me, so I said, I have something. And I ran home because I lived in Long Island City at the time. I said, can I go home and come back in a minute? And they said, sure, to get to that. And so I wore a Patina Miller dress when I did 30 Rock.
And since you're both sample sizes, it was perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Very that's so funny.
I love that
you said that because you remember I used to do these videos where I would dress up as female characters on Instagram.
Oh, yes.
The start of that was because I was helping Dorinda Medley, Housewives of New York, clean out her closet.
Work.
And she gave me some pieces, and I had them at the house, and I was like, I don't think she didn't have any wigs, but I did have a wig just sitting around, and I was like, okay, I've got the Dorinda shirt, I've got this hat, this hair, and it was it's so funny, those little moments where you don't realize will turn into really big things for you.
It's so funny. We're all working to kind of, get out of the closet, but there was so much there for us to use.
Closet, yes.
Just had to get it before it got to Salvation Army.
Jesus Christ.
But then you have to, when you become successful or whatever, I think success can mean many things. I don't think it's monetary. I think a lot of people think success is monetary. I don't think it's monetary.
Totally.
I think success can mean many things. I'm very grateful.
You and Juan will have an argument about that off the record.
I was saying it can be. It can be.
Monetary helps. I love my child. I'm not going to, I will get that bag, honey, okay? I will get my bag. But
yes,
I think it's very important to pay it forward. So if there's a young performer who needs whatever, I will remember Gavin and Patina and what they did for me. and do what I can to help out. And then I had a really good friend of mine, my friend Rob, who's an amazing makeup artist. But when I was first getting sober, he had this pair of Louboutins. And I really wanted a pair of Louboutins, but I was very poor and couldn't afford them, whatever. And so he, for my 1 year sober anniversary, gave me that pair of Louboutins in the box, and he said, here's your first pair, and when you can afford to buy your first pair, you give these to someone who can't afford them and wants them. So I got to the point in my career where I could pay for Louboutins, and I gave that pair to a baby drag queen who was getting sober, and I told her the same thing. And now that those Louboutins have traveled to I think 7 people at this point.
Wow. Are they still red bottoms at this point? Because that feels like
I never wore them. I kept them in the box. And
it's like a symbolic thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You know, speaking of, you were like, have these shoes have made it to 7, blah, blah, blah. And it just reminded me, as terrible, such a bad host, but a great one now, is that you are the first drag queen to hit all 7 continents, baby girl.
Baby, every single one. Boom, boom, boom.
boom, boom.
All of them.
Wow. Crazy. If I knew what a continent was, I would probably understand how important that is, but I don't. But I get that, ooh, that's fun. So, you've been to England.
Okay, well, that's a country.
I know, Rose. I know.
She's spitting. She's doing bits.
England is actually a division of a country. It's the United Kingdom.
Correct.
Yes.
Which is comprised of 4 countries.
Correct.
That make up the kingdom.
Correct.
Come on, geography lessons.
England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland.
Thank you. Yes.
Love that. When you started to travel and drag, was it kind of one of those things where you're like, I'm so excited I can use this to 1, go on vacation, and 2, make money at the same time? Or was it like a gig is a gig is a gig?
It was totally accidental. This is another friend helping me. I was performing in Bob the drag queen and I used to do a monthly show in Philadelphia. And
What was it called?
Oh God, what was it called?
Oh, sorry. Only if there was a title, but if we don't need it. We don't need
What
it.
was it called? I live for that.
I don't remember. But
Okay. Great.
we got booked to perform in Fort Lauderdale together for Pride to do our show. And she had gotten a phone call to go and do something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I got an email. She was in her room on the phone doing things,
Yes.
She had, and I got an email
Drag Race.
that said, hey, Bob the drag queen is no longer available to do this. She had suggested and referred you to do this cruise gig. And so I'm like, Roberta, why are you not doing the gig?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Okay, go win, you will. And she did. And so I got hired, and I have now traveled the whole world: Antarctica, Australia, the Middle East, Asia, Africa. And it's just been the most wild experience to take drag around the world, to take my version of drag around the world. And I've gotten to see the coolest shit. The pyramids have a Pizza Hut KFC combo across the street. Guys,
This is what I want to hear. Yes, give me all of that.
Okay, so I don't think people realize the pyramids are. Have you been?
They're on another continent.
Yeah, Africa.
That
in
would
Africa.
be correct.
So the pyramids are in the middle of Cairo. The city's built around it. So you're there and you're like, ooh, baby, the pharaohs.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on, titanium. I am titanium.
Anubis.
Yeah. So whatever. So then you're at the Sphinx, right? And she's a big old
Is that a gay club?
Wow.
Her nose is missing. Get a doctor. So you're looking at the Sphinx. And then when you turn, you want to turn away from the Sphinx so you can get your picture with the Sphinx behind you. But when you're getting the picture, you look directly at a KFC Pizza Hut combo. Wow. And I'm like, girl, it gagged the fuck out of me. I was like, can we get a bucket of chicken with our mystery?
Right.
It was insane. It was insane. And when I was in Jordan, Petra was amazing. But when I was in Jordan, it's illegal to
Eat KFC?
to be a faggot. So
okay.
They told me because we knew with this company, Vakaya, that I perform with, that we wanted to get me to all 7 continents. And so Jordan is part of Asia. And to be considered to perform, you have to like be in drag, whatever. But I had to stay on the ship, which was in the port, because if I got onto the gangway and they saw me, I would be arrested for being in drag. So I stood on the top of the ship outside to do my little number or whatever.
Wow, it's giving very it's very like
find a way.
Michigan and Canada when they were protesting, and I was like, did you guys know that there's just like a lake and it separates Canada from whatever the other is it
Yep.
Michigan?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Detroit is right across the river from Canada.
Like Michigan.
I didn't.
We have a Great Lakes.
The name of the city is called Victoria.
Well,
Yeah.
Named
we
after
learn
a
something
British
new every
queen.
day.
Yes, from the Victorian era.
Marty, just to give you some context, when I was in Mamma Mia and you and I first
Here
met,
we go again.
correct. I was at Ariba, and I'm at a dinner, and a friend of mine said, hey, something, Corey Greenan, he was in the cast, he was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to the West Coast of Canada tomorrow, and me thinking I was so smart, I was like, what? And he was like, I'm going to the West Coast of Canada? And I was like, oh. I was like, you mean like, just like, just to the left of Buffalo? And he was like, and now everyone's paying attention. And
Yeah,
then
of course.
they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, Canada's right here above us, and like, so like just left of Buffalo, like so like that west, like is that what you mean? Just wester? And he was like, Ian, he's like, what do you think is all of this like above the rest of America? And I was
Right.
like, terrain.
Who do you think owns the terrain?
Well, and then that's what they said. They're like, but you like not owned by anybody. I was like, oh, I just thought it was like land, like just like the forests and stuff. And they're like,
Right.
yes.
But who? Oh, okay, we're gonna do geography. Okay, where? Okay, so British Columbia and the Yukon Territory, the Northwest Territory—they're all to the west.
The West Coast,
And
yes.
Right.
The Yukon connects with Alaska because Alaska is not connected to the United States. You understand? Okay, so
You understand. You understand.
Yeah, you understand. What was? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Was it Chris?
Yeah.
What was the question? Okay. No, I have learned more since that day.
Yeah.
I've now learned that thing. And anyway, it's a story, and it's a great story for the ages. But that is where I learned that the rest of what's on top of what the hat is, America's hat, is Canada.
Listen, if Ian went on a
Yes.
Vakaya cruise, honey, she would be like,
I'd be
where
arrested.
are we? This
you should come with us. You should come with us.
I've been
We could
wanting
do a
to go.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, you can do Mamma
Wait.
Mia.
Yes,
Sure.
we can. Wait, by the way, I feel like we
I'll be
should
back
watch
in
the
one
new
day.
Mamma Mia tour. The woman playing Donna is exquisite. I've never heard
Amazing.
singing like
I
this in
did
my
see
life.
her,
We should
yeah.
do a live reaction to this in a minute
Okay.
because I have it. But yeah,
the winner
But
takes
I have a
all.
question about Vakaya. It's classier, right? It's classier than your competitors, correct? It's like a little bit. There's, you know. Is
And
it
if it's
that?
not, just lie, Marty, because we need to get sponsored.
Well, I'm the
I
Grand
wanna go
Marshal.
on
You
it.
think I'm gonna do some busted ass shit?
yeah. Oh.
Right,
So,
exactly. She's a
so
professional.
so there's 3 tiers of Vakaya.
Like
the
a
big
pyramid.
ships, which are like traditional, big ships.
Right.
Bonnie Tyler is singing "Total Eclipse of the Heart" on the
Wow.
eclipse script because there's going to be an eclipse happening. So she's singing "Total Eclipse of the Heart"
I love it.
while the eclipse
Doesn't
happens.
get
And
more
Yes,
on
I
the nose
remember
than that.
So those are the big ships. They're more like traditional, whatever.
Yeah.
Then I am the small ship cruise director, which are like luxe ships. So they're like 200 passengers. They're the ones who like go to Antarctica and Australia, and like we're going to Scotland, to Iceland next year. That's the one that did Jordan and the Middle East. So they're smaller, 200 passengers, more intimate. I cannot afford them.
Yeah, it's like
Got it.
there's
Got
like
it.
multiple black tie nights, right? It's like fancy.
No.
Oh
But,
no.
like, you dress nice, but it's the
Okay,
people
yeah.
are lovely. There's this group. John, my husband calls them the Marti Army. There's this group of bears that goes on like every trip, and I love them. And there's like 20 of them, and I love bears. Bears love me, and they're like these amazing guys. And so I've traveled the whole world with them, and which is so nice, and it's so intimate, and it makes the experience that much more special because they're like on vacation and enjoying their time, but they're also celebrating. Like okay, so for example, we went to Bora Bora, and we were sailing across the Pacific for 7 days, and I'd already signed my contract, and then found out that the documentary about my campaign was having its premiere at New Fest. And I didn't want to break my contract because I take those things very seriously. So I couldn't go to my premiere. So Vakaya is so amazing. They emailed the producers and New Fest without telling me and asking if they could do a premiere for me on the same night on the ship.
Oh.
And all those guys, I mean, everybody on the ship came to see the movie, but those guys were so, they like held me during the show, or during the, because I'd never seen the documentary. I'd never seen it.
Yeah.
And they held me while I cried and had this experience. John, who's one of them, just messaged me the other day and said, 18 of us bought tickets to your show in P-Town. We can't wait to see you. And like, it's just such a joy, you know? Like, it's such a joy.
I love bears with money. They can make themselves, they can get there. You know what I mean? It's nice to know they can get there. And, you know?
Do you know where P-Town
Getting
is
there is
again?
half the fun.
P-Town is in Boston.
Massachusetts.
But Massachusetts is in Boston. That was another one that
Nope.
used to happen a lot for me. Sorry, just
Boston
kind of
is
going
in
back.
Massachusetts. Okay.
Got it. No, yeah, totally. I understand now.
Right.
But for a while there. Also, I would just like to, in my defense, when I grew up in the Queen's County in the UK, I learned a lot of.
You grew up in the UK?
I did until I was 12 years old.
Tell me about that.
Well, it's a country that.
No, why did you live there?
About your upbringing, not the country.
No, I know. I lived there because my dad had been living there, and that's where I met my mom, and she was a diplomat, and they met, and they had me and my sister. Kind of random. He's American, mom's from Honduras, and we were. That's just kind of why we were just there.
That is the plot of Avita.
What part of
Exactly.
Okay, what do you think of, okay, Avita, Rachel Ziegler, it's happening. And
It is.
Jamie Lloyd needs to stop putting people in their boxer shirts. Okay, let's come up with new ideas. But
Covered in paint,
Covered in paint.
blood, but
what are we doing?
Also,
What are we doing?
he's
Like, do we have a-
it's giving one trick pony.
but
I will
love
say,
the
can
balcony
people have a
outside.
theme? Yeah.
People can have a theme. You're right. I'm sure people. You know, I think about this a lot because of what it must have felt like to experience Sondheim in real time, right? Like as he was creating, and if you were someone who was in your late 30s, like some of you, and you're like getting to really experience what he was writing, like were you like, oh, I hear Into the Woods here, like, oh, I hear what he's doing here, the same way we could say that about like
Bob Fosse.
Lin-Manuel, who's Bob Fosse, but I'm talking in terms of music,
Okay,
like in
okay.
terms of like
Okay.
just something that you can listen to and you go, oh, I can really always hear their theme. Like, does Lin write music in the same way? And you can kind of maybe
like Andrew
hear-
Lloyd Webber's songs are
Yeah,
bad.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And you're right. Let everyone have their theme for sure. But you know, like to me, doing like Sunset Boulevard on like Schubert Alley, doesn't really. What's happening? It just feels like. Why was
But-
my question with that
Right.
production? I had a lot of questions of
But
like,
would you say
why?
that if you were in the production?
But I wasn't.
Okay,
But
Mom,
if you were, would you?
I
the
would have
winner
been
takes
really
it all.
happy with my base rate, equity, weekly rate, and I
Just happen
probably
to be here.
and I probably, you know what, I would have been I would have made Nicole feel comfortable, and I think you would have gotten your the speech and like the public thing that you want, Marty. If I was in the show, I could have
Call your agent, make it happen. Listen, I do
The
like
name of my book, Call Your Agent. Make it
I do
happen.
like the Rachel Ziegler outside on the balcony to the
too, I
street.
love
I think
that.
that's really
But is
fun.
everyone coming out of the house to watch it?
No, no,
he
no, it's
probably
on a camera.
filmed. Well, yeah, there's cameras. I saw on the TikTok. There's cameras on her. TikTok showed me.
See,
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. Paying what I pay to see it inside the biggest song of the musical, and yet the bitch goes outside to sing it.
Listen, there
Not,
are other
and
big
I'm not calling her a
songs.
bitch. I'm just using the term bitch as like
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
No, I know what
girl.
you mean.
Escort- yes.
but I think
Like-
it makes it.
Like, oh,
Fun.
sorry, the people outside watching this shit for free while I'm inside and I'm watching this bitch on the screen.
And you know what? I will say
Make that make sense.
We've not all seen it, and you're right, Johnny. Until we're seated in the seats, maybe we will be lost in the experience, and we will be speaking different praises. You know what I
Maybe.
mean?
Marty, you've seen it, the clip. It is she, because I know she's wearing in-ear monitors, so is she a cappella outside? Like, does the people outside, is there,
Why are we
they
asking
hearing
Marty
music?
like he knows?
No.
I think they probably
knows.
pump the
Marty
music. They
knows.
pump the music. Like,
Yeah, they must pump it. They must pump it.
I don't remember. When I saw it on TikTok,
I saw it on TikTok as well.
I don't remember if there was the music or not. I remember the camera and I remember the wig that I could see her hairline.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Previews.
There's tariffs. Bobby pins are hard to come by.
Yeah.
Right.
But she's really wonderful. I like her. I think she's very talented.
Me too.
No, she is.
My opinion.
Incredible. And that's
I am.
I think
I
that's
really
why
love her.
I asked that question because she is so talented and like
So good.
it was funny because she sounded incredible when she was out on that balcony, but I was like, imagine you're just across the street eating and you see someone descend, and you have no idea that this is what's happening at
Ascent.
Avita, and
Yeah.
you just ascend. Thank you. And you see this girl come out and she just starts singing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina." You're like, I'm just trying to have some fish and chips over here.
And she has a better seat in
and
the house
everyone
than you
inside
do.
is like,
Not a
anyway.
fish and chip.
But that I honestly think that's great marketing because we're talking about it. We're asking the
We're
questions.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is she?
And-
Where is she
Yeah.
singing it?
Yeah.
And the Che is so cute.
I'm
Oh
curious
my
about
God.
the Che, you know,
Hubba
like,
hubba.
So cute.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it because Avita was always one of those shows for me growing up that like kind of missed me. I was always like, oh, like I know of it, but I didn't grow up with the album at all. I didn't grow up watching the movie, blah, 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 right? And once it got to me, I was like, oh, like I don't really like this sort of like pop rock opera vibey, like the singing. I just
Angela
don't
Weber,
care.
I'm telling
I
you.
just can't with it, right? It's just like not my tea. And for it being kind of like rocky, like when Ricky Martin did it, I remember
I
being
saw
like,
him.
oh,
I saw that
too.
one. Yeah.
he fucking
I wanted
killed
to
it.
Peter.
What?
Sorry, your
I wanted to
audio
warn-
cut out.
Oh, you
I
wanted to.
I wanted to Lauren Boebert it. I wanted to yank it and wait. He was so hot. Oh my God, he was
he was
so
spectacular.
hot.
But and to that, remember, I just remember being like, oh, like he made sense of it to me because there was a sort of raw, rocky, like a
Yes,
true, like,
raw.
pop rockiness to him on prep, and I remember being like, oh, like it sounded better to my ear. So I am looking forward to this younger cast or this cast of now, if
Younger
you will,
cast.
whatever.
Ian,
My peers.
I really enjoy listening to you.
Oh, thank you. I'm actually starting a spin-off podcast. It's called Just Me.
I love that. Just Ian.
But truly, like no one else, no guests. Like I can't get anyone on the list. I need Marty to do my Democratic Club. Like hire. I need people in.
It's just
That's so
Um,
funny. There are people that do podcasts like that, and it's like
terrible.
Solomon
Ray
Ray
does
funny
one, and
because
it
they
is
just go.
hilarious.
Who?
Solomon Ray. Do you follow
Oh
Solomon
yeah,
Ray?
Solomon Ray is hilarious.
For an hour and a half, just talking about absolutely nothing. Talking about the cats, talking about this, what
Right.
they bought, what they're doing.
Ooh, I
Hilarious.
like that. And Marty, to answer your question, because it was an important question, I was raised in South Kensington, also known as Knightsbridge. It's like down the street from Harrods.
Yeah,
if
I know
that means
Harrods.
anything. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you know of that.
Well, you asked, and I thought, oh, well, he's gonna really and you're not really giving me anything off of that.
No, I know Harrods. They have the Princess Diana display.
I haven't been there in a while, but that's good to know. I'm sure it's there. Yeah.
And the Doty. Do they still have Doty up there? Maybe not. I don't know.
Fayette?
Yeah, probably because he died too. Sad.
Yeah.
But
Rest in
they have the
peace.
Diana Memorial, which I love Princess Diana. Okay, so Mamma Mia, the new Donna.
First Lady of America.
is really,
The
yeah.
new Donna. Should we?
She's
Do you want
really
to hear
taking
it?
The new Donna.
Carolee Carmella is always
Yeah.
my favorite Donna.
She was my first when I
exquisite.
joined.
She's incredible. Her Winner Takes It All turns me out. When she did my show Stage Fright, she sang it in my ear. And I had that show, I had Carolee Carmella and Beth Level. So I
In
had
one night?
In one night. So I had Carolee Carmella singing The Winner Takes It All in my ear. Literally, I'm standing right next to her. And then Beth Level singing As We Stumble Along in my ear. And I'm like prolapsing everywhere. Because
Oh my God.
I'm like dying. And then we sang Mamma Mia together. It was so brilliant. Okay, the new Donna, what's her name? Because she's fantastic.
Her name is Christine Sherrill.
Give her the Tony.
Oh, I think I saw this video.
Yes, it's like in the audience.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you want to hear it?
Wait,
Yes.
is Mamma Mia going to be eligible for a revival, Tony? Because it's the tour coming to Broadway?
Yeah, because technically it's on. I mean, it's a Broadway contract. It's for their time on Broadway, they are a revival.
Wow.
Gagged them. Bring back
That
Legally
is-
Blonde.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
Marty, just for you to know, and it could just be maybe like an accent thing. Carolee Carmelo.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you know, girl? If you ever have to say the name,
Why don't we
Wait,
say it?
Well, how did I say it? How did I say it?
Carmela. You were saying Carolee Carmela.
Oh, that's because I'm a bottom. Sorry. Okay. Carmela.
so you're
Maybe it was Carmela, like, you know, Carmela.
That's why I was saying maybe it's just accent, but in case it wasn't, you know. What
I
I mean?
say that John, my husband, he makes fun of me because I say things incorrectly all the time. Okay, you know the thing when the trees change colors? I don't know how to say it.
Fall.
I say foliage, and that's not what it is.
Foliage.
Foliage.
Yeah.
Well, foliage is just the plants themselves.
Yeah, and I
How do
say
you...
I say water. I say draw for a drawer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
She's just got an accent.
How do you say WOLF, like the animal?
Wolf.
Wolf.
Wolf, yeah.
I struggle with that. Wolf. I don't
Oh,
know. It's a
it's
weird
so
word.
weird.
How do you
because
say the
roar.
word singer?
Oh. Let's not talk.
Marty, that's not a trick question. How do you say that word?
Singer.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Nice. Also, Marty, where are you from that you do have an accent? We're just going to skip right through that.
I'm from Maryland.
Oh, my God.
So like
The
how I talk
DMV,
to
Maryland, Virginia,
Delaware.
Delaware. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I know things.
So like I'll say like this is like an example that I do all the time. Okay. Okay. We're gonna go wash our clothes down the creek in the water and then get a hoagie.
Oh.
All right,
It's
let's
kind of-
talk. It's
it's
very
kind of like-
Philadelphia, Baltimore mix.
I was gonna say it's very like
Hairspray.
Kate Winslet in that.
Ooh,
that
yeah,
series.
Mary
Beach Town.
Mary
Yes,
Town, yeah.
Mary
Yes,
Beach
yes,
Town.
yes. Okay.
Okay,
Here is
shall we?
Christine Cheryl. Okay.
Okay.
Here she is. Okay. I'm gonna put the volume up. Get the whole.
What you see, the winner takes it.
This is what I'm talking about. This is my Rose's turn.
Oh wow.
Wait here.
Acting.
Acting. Here, bet this right here.
The winner takes it.
Sing! I would have thrown my shoe up there.
Okay.
Wow.
The
See,
scoop.
now
the
that
scoop,
is
the
Broadway.
scoop. The
That's
scoop.
Broadway to me.
That's Broadway. That's Broadway. That's Broadway. That's Broadway. Okay, let me tell you. You are an actress. If you can take an ABBA song like that and make it the pain, the heartache, the feeling, to then get up. Okay, she's chasing that man. Don't ever chase a man, okay? She's chasing that man. She's
She's
chasing
a
him.
wounded bird.
She's
Donna's a
wounded. These
bird.
three men. She's wounded, and she just wants her daughter to be happy. And then at the end, the scoop is about. It's not just a belt. It's not just an option up. She's feeling it from the depths of her.
Yes.
She's going down into the depth of her body to bring it up to you, the
Right.
audience. Fucking
It's
love
like- yeah,
Broadway.
yes.
I
Only to
love
be rivaled
theater.
by Beth Levels. I loved what Beth Levels did to the end because Beth Levels just gave you the best glottal ever.
Glottal
She was
of the
like,
time.
The winner takes it. Oh! It was so
What is a glottal?
spectacular. It's when you close your throat on like a vowel sound, so like echo instead of saying like echo.
Yeah.
You go elephant
I don't.
versus
Can you do it in
elephant.
song, one of you? I don't quite understand.
Instead of being like the winner, so like if we're doing a lot of no's and it's like the winner takes it, oh, you're like okay, great. The winner takes it,
Oh,
it's the
like a hard
onset.
stop.
It's the onset of the beginning of the note.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
satisfying.
When I see an incredible, strong, dynamic, powerful woman stand on a
Yes.
stage
Marty, thank you.
and yes. Yeah, okay, prime example, Robin Herder in Smash, when she goes, take it from the bridge. Take it from the bridge, maestro.
yes,
and
that
she
part.
does. And it's phenomenal. Robin Herder is a true triple threat. We don't have many left. True triple threat. She belts, she kicks, she emotes. It is brilliant. It is brilliant. It is
Yeah, she was
just
fabulous in the show.
phenomenal. I fucking love. Okay, I love Broadway.
is amazing.
I love theater so much. That's why I love doing my show stage right, because I will get just like Lilius White. I just texted her this morning. Lilius White did my show, and she said, I don't think I'm gonna sing. And I was like, okay. And then she gets up there, and on stage she goes, I want to do a number. And I was like, okay. She did Don't Rain on My Parade, and it was the most incredible. She was at therapy at the bar. The most incredible version. And then she goes, I want to do one more. And she did The Life, The Oldest Profession, which she won a Tony for. And it was just in a bar. You all remember therapy. To have that raw emotion. Alice Ripley did Sunset Boulevard when she did my show. And she was present. She was honed into the character. And I fucking love a powerful woman in Broadway.
Me too.
I also love a good man, and of course the theys. I'm a they.
Sure, yeah.
Orville Peck just did the show,
Yeah.
and he wanted to do it. Oh yes, he's so nice. He's so nice.
So sweet.
He wanted to do a duet, which I was like, what? So we sang Maybe This Time together, and it was like, I'm geeking out over theater. I love theater. Melissa Manchester's doing my show tomorrow. Don't cry out loud, just keep it inside.
Yeah.
And so I'm singing that song with Melissa Manchester, and I'm like, so I don't make a lot of money during that show, but that to me is success.
Yeah,
It is
success.
And it is success because you've been doing it for quite some time.
10
And you've had
years.
some amazing names come through there.
amazing.
Where can everyone see it now in its current iteration?
It's on Wednesday nights at Red Eye on 41st and 9th, but tomorrow is a Tuesday. We're doing a special appearance because Melissa has to perform at the Hollywood Bowl. So we're
We're doing it Tuesday. And no cover, right?
No cover because
That's amazing.
because Broadway should be accessible. And Broadway should be accessible. It's so expensive. So I want these kids, or anybody, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
to be able to see their favorite Broadway performers. But what I love about the show is we have Tony winners, Grammy winners, Emmy winners, these big stars. But I also like to bring in people. Swings are the hardest working fucking people on Broadway.
Yeah.
Understudies are the hardest working. So I'll bring those folks in because I want them to have an opportunity to get their flowers and to shine.
100%.
And their voices are fresh.
And if they get seen by somebody that's somewhere that needs someone to star maybe next time, maybe that it's just such a that's what I love about New York theater scene, comedy scene, all the different scenes of art in New York. It is such a beautiful place to come and be seen and be discovered in different ways.
I had someone do the show and they sang from Wicked, and someone from Wicked happened to be there, and they got called in for an audition for it because of that show.
Amazing.
Insane.
Also, you've plugged your show. When's the next cruise? When are you sailing the seas next?
I'm going to Alaska
Oh.
Okay.
on the western shore.
Yeah, the West
Got
Coast.
it. Got it.
I'm
You have to-
going
you have to bring in
in
your
the end
Elsa
of July.
bag.
So I'm doing P-Town July 1st through 14th, and then I go to Alaska July 26th to August 8th.
Wow.
Where are you performing in P-Town?
Crown and Anchor, baby.
Fab.
Yes, we love Crown and Anchor.
My show, tickets are on sale. It's called Are You There, Asteroid? It's me, Marty.
I love
Beam
that.
me up, Scotty.
Oh my God.
And
Yes.
at this time when this airs, you will be in the parade as Grand Marshal for New York City's 2025 Pride
Yeah. Same day.
celebration.
I'm very honored. Okay, I know we got to wrap, but I'm going to tell this really quick story.
No, you're good.
Now I'm hyped. The Broadway girlies got me hyped up, baby. Tits up.
I have a question I'm sitting on.
baby.
I can't wait to ask.
Tits up. So I moved to New York on June 23rd, 2025. I was 17 years old. I went to Catholic school, and so there wasn't a lot of queer stuff going on.
Yeah.
So the Pride Parade was obviously that same week that I moved because it's the end of June. So 17 years old, I went to my first Pride, and I saw a drag queen in person for the first time. I saw queer people joyfully together for the first time. And so now on the 20th anniversary of me being in New York, of my first Pride, 20 years later, exactly 20 years, to be given an honor that I will never get this honor again in my life. You get it one time. And the fact that it's falling on the 20 years is that, oh, I'm getting emotional. It is so astounding. And it's that thing of like, success is not like doesn't have to be monetary. Success is that like little like twink who moved to New York at 17 is now 20 years later able to do that. It blows my mind.
You're closing the circle.
It blows my mind.
It's amazing.
It's the dream that you didn't even know you had when you first came, and it's coming true. And it's so nice to see. I mean, it's one of those
So
things where you see
beautiful.
when I found out that you were doing that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense, absolutely. And just to see you go from the red carpets to to running for office and to going on every single continent in the world. It is so lovely to see someone get the life they want to have because they're the ones getting it. Does that make sense? Like, you're not waiting for life to come to you. You're living it, and you're bringing everyone else along the ride. So I really have to say thank you for being such a beacon of hope, for being such an advocate for all of us, even on days when we don't feel like it, and for just living your joy, because your joy is contagious.
Yeah.
I love you all. Oh.
And another thing I'll say about Marti is you are such a loyal friend. The people who are in your inner sanctum, you care for them and look after them. And, I've seen you in action as how you are with your best friends, and it's beautiful.
Baby,
you
we
learn
ride
everything
hard.
about that.
We ride hard.
You do.
And at
you really
dawn.
We're as thick as thieves.
It's true. Thank you for helping us to remind us to be brave. You're truly, literally, like, you live out loud in a way that's like so. We think we're all fierce over here, and I think I'm doing something, blah blah blah. But baby, you're really doing something, and it's so nice to see that you're being, honored for it.
Yeah. And as we're closing out Pride Month, what is something you would like to leave with our milkers, our listeners, going into the rest of the year after Pride is long gone?
I mean, this is kind of cliche, but like, be unapologetically you, loud and proud. Like, you are you, and there is only one of you out of the billions of years that Earth has been around, and of the billions and billions of people who have existed on this planet. You are the only one of you that will ever be. And Maya Angelou has this great, I love Maya Angelou. She's my meditation, and she does this great video. And this is kind of my like mantra that when I'm feeling I need to get my shit together, I need to center. It's a Super Soul Sunday with Oprah, but she says this thing where she goes, and for me, I don't know what God I believe in, but there's something out there. And she says, God, which created the stars and the trees and you and me. God loves me. God loves me. It's amazing. And I can do all things good because of that. And that is what is my driving force. There is a power in the universe that loves me for exactly who I am. And because of that, even on the hard days, I can do all things good.
Yeah.
So that's...
Amen. I said amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
And
Hallelujah.
you are one of the angels here on earth.
Wow. Well, Marti, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
We love you. We really do.
I love you all so much.
Mwah.
We could do
Happy
this
Pride, everyone.
forever.
Thank you for celebrating this
Happy
month with
Pride.
us.
Thank
Mwah.
you.
Rate, like, subscribe, and share with someone who gets it or needs to.
Qué rico.